you ever wondered what the future of jewellery retail looks like, especially in this digital-first world, or how technology is transforming the entire industry? Well, today you're in for a treat because I've got a special guest joining me who is at the forefront of this transformation. But my guest today, Rebecca, is the Chief Digital Officer of Signet Jewelers, and they are the world's largest diamond retailer. And they own 11 renowned jewellery brands. I'm talking everything from Kay to Zales and James Allen. And under Rebecca's leadership, they've pioneered a connected commerce presence that is unmatched by any competitor. So today, Rebecca's going to share Signet's innovative approach to seamless shopping, virtual customizations, how social selling is driving growth, and also how they're setting new standards throughout the entire industry with their technology. So I'm quite looking forward to exploring the cutting-edge advancements that make Signet the most data-driven jewellery retailer in the world, and how they're redefining the future of retail as a result. I want to take a time out to express my gratitude to everyone who supports my mission of delivering daily content to you in 165 countries. I couldn't do it without you, and I couldn't do it without my sponsors. And today I want to give a quick shout out to Kiteworks, who recently told me that defence contractors are facing immense pressure to comply with things like CMMC 2.0 security standards. And finding a secure, easy-to-use file sharing platform that meets those guidelines can be a big challenge. So, quick shout out to any defence contractors listening out there. CMMC 2.0 compliance doesn't have to be a headache. Consider Kiteworks your fast track to authorisation. And as a FedRAMP moderate authorised solution, they cover nearly 90% of CMMC 2.0 Level 3 requirements. For you, that means less time, less effort, less cost. And while others struggle with DIY approval processes and clunky apps, you'll breeze through with their zero trust framework. So don't let compliance slow you down, is what I'm trying to say. Simply visit kiteworks.com to get started. That's kiteworks.com to learn more about Kiteworks' secure content platform for CMMC compliance. But with my thank yous out of the way, it's now time to jump right into today's interview with a fantastic guest. So buckle up and hold on tight as I beam your ears all the way to Dallas, Texas, where Rebecca is waiting to share this exciting story today. So a massive warm welcome to the show. Can you tell everyone listening a little about who you are and what you do?
Thank you, Neil. Appreciate you having me. My name is Rebecca Wooters, and I am the Chief Digital Officer for Signet Jewelers. Signet is the largest retailer of jewelry, and we have quite a few names that people would recognize, like Kay and Zales and Jared and James Allen and H. Samuel. So quite a few. And I'm lucky enough to not only run our websites for each of those brands, but as well what we call digital, connected commerce and support in the stores.
And that's just one of the many reasons I was excited to get you on this podcast, because every day I try and get people thinking differently about technology and its impact on businesses, areas that you don't associate with technology, and how essentially every company is a tech company now. And hearing you talking about their jewelers with all these famous brands, I don't think a lot of people will associate you with tech. I think that's fair to say. So can you share an overview about your role as Chief Digital Officer at Signet Jewelers, and also the role of things like technology and big data throughout the company?
No, it's a great lead up and a great point about where our retailers and just, companies in general are heading. You're absolutely right. We along with others are really positioning technology and data to have a much better experience with our customers, and Signet is really no different. We absolutely use technology innovation as well as data to really be there for the customer where they want to be. And, it started for me. I actually was hired in April of 2020. So you can look back at that time frame and understand what was going on in the world. We were in the middle of a pandemic. Our stores were actually closed for the first time in history. And so not only did they know before they hired me that digital was increasingly important to, their future, but all of a sudden it was as critical as ever because it's all we had. That time frame really highlighted a few things, mostly that we wanted to be there for customers in a virtual way. We had managers that were at home, calling customers. And so there became really this adventure that we went on, which was to, create platforms in which customers could go online, could have virtual appointments and conversations, could message with us, could even text with us, and we could send them, not only product catalogs, but allow them to pay online. So my role really became this opportunity to understand what was happening in the world, but also think about the conveniences that customers really appreciated and loved. And so during that time, things like telemedicine, buying groceries online and having them delivered, but talking to a virtual consultant about designing a ring and being able to, use AI to design that ring and see what it looks like and send it back to the customer, all through text messages. That became the world that I got to lead, along with a really great team. I think the other question that you asked is, how did we use data to support these relationships? Well, we are very focused on what I would consider a customer-centric forensic view, which understands the customer journey, where they're going, what they want to do, but also our customers as individuals. So we launched and invested in a customer data platform that allowed us to not only know our customers, but also look at groups of like customers. And then that became a real strong part of all the features that we built, the agile process that we took in order to create this innovation, and really becomes more the focus today of everything we do. I would say the center of what we do. So we've gone from creating features for, masses to getting down to really thinking about features and personal recommendations, one-to-one. And that's really the most exciting, part of the work that I get to lead.
Wow, it has been quite a journey. I know we mentioned the pandemic there for a few moments, and it was such a crazy time. I remember there was a clothing store here in the US, and they called, over here in the UK, called Primark, and it went from $800 million a month to zero because it had no online presence. And at the same time, I think it was Zoom that was worth more than all the world's airlines combined. We often forget, well, you probably don't forget for obvious reason, but it was a very difficult time, wasn't it?
It really was. It was difficult in so many ways, and yet I think we all look back and realize there was a lot of positives that came out of it. Connections with your family, relationships, but how you communicate and how you connect and the conveniences around that absolutely changed and has now become really, I would say, part of the heart of how we interact with our customers. That just never went away after the pandemic.
100%. And fast forward to 2024, and Signet Jewelers is known for your advanced connect commerce strategy. So can you tell me a bit more about what connected commerce means for Signet, and also what it is that makes you different from other jewelry retailers that maybe trade online sometimes as well?
Yeah, one of the things that I consider are a competitive differentiator is our data and our journey digital analytics. And what that showed us, and in fact, why we coined, the phrase connected commerce, is our customers are not linear. It's not like they are going from only in one channel and staying in one channel or making decisions that, are direct. The reality is it's a fluid connection of experiences, journeys, and channels. And it's how customers are operating. They're not making decisions by going into one channel, although there are a few that go in online and self-serve and, they're out. But the reality, customers are going online, they're doing research, they sometimes go into the store. And what we need to understand is this combination of these experiences and how they all lead them to their purchasing decision. And frankly, the engagement and relationship that we want to have with them. So that's, that has since become, our thought is let's focus on connected commerce capabilities. While we appreciate and love customers who operate online, and we certainly have plenty of those that do, we by and large see more of a fluid movement between those channels. And so that's, knowing that and understanding that is paying off for us.
And just to bring to life what we're talking about here, is there anything you can share around how you've leveraged both data and technology to create this seamless shopping experience across so many big brands from, as you mentioned a few moments ago, Kay and Zales, etc.? Anything you can share around that?
Sure. So some of the capabilities and some of the things that we've understood is that roughly 78% of our in-store purchases are actually going online first. And so as we can understand both groups or audiences that are going online, what they're searching, how they're searching, and then ultimately using that information to help our consultants when these customers, come into the store, so that they're not starting from, scratch, but rather they've got information, sometimes even down to the individual as to what they were looking at, online and how they can start that conversation. We also see things like features that we're using online. Conversion is much higher, in fact, 6 times, that of a customer who goes online and looks. We see features that we've put in place over the last few years, like virtual try-on, for instance, is a great example. Somebody uses virtual try-on, they're 6 times more likely to convert. We're also seeing things similar to what I mentioned, about pandemic activity, but we have quite a few of our e-commerce orders that are actually picked up in store. And so a couple of things there. One is high percentage coming into the store after shopping online and purchasing online, which then, drives a new behavior, including our ability to talk to them about other things, other pieces, even our loyalty program, things like that. I mean, the reality is we're just, we're continuing to innovate and add new features that not only, drive experience online, but actually helps our consultants in the store as well.
And I'm glad you mentioned this, because when I was doing a little research on Signet before our conversation today, a few standout trends there came up there. Virtual customizations, virtual try-ons are all becoming increasingly popular. So can you tell me a little bit more about how that technology works to make all that possible? And ultimately, by doing that, the impact you're having on everything from customer engagement to sales?
Yes, it's really quite fun, to be honest. And as you can imagine, some of our pieces can be, quite an investment, right? Quite a purchase. So people want to trust and understand that what they're getting is what they're seeing, or that it will look good on them. So we certainly started testing virtual try-on a couple of years ago. That has innovated and iterated into quite an experience. You can virtually design a ring and try it on. You can actually try on multiple rings. So in other words, you can stack rings. You can look at chains and earrings, on yourself. But we also added through AI the ability to try it on a model. So if you don't want to necessarily try it on yourself, you can see what it looks like on a model, and you can actually change the skin type of that model. So if you want to choose somebody that you think is, more in your skin color and your look, you can use that model versus yourself and try on any, number of products. And this has been not only tremendous for us, but, it's fun. It's something that the customers enjoy using.
Wow, that's incredibly cool. And also, as an extension of that, things like social selling platforms and virtual storefronts are innovative approaches in retail that really seem to be catching on. So how have you integrated these technologies, and are there any particular benefits that you've observed from their implementation?
So you're hitting on something that I'm really probably most excited about right now, which is our digital storefronts. So we launched about a year ago with our virtual consultants. So we started testing with them this idea of creating a digital storefront. What we were finding is we had the ability for a customer to go online and speak to one of our virtual consultants about, any number of our products online. But what we were finding is these consultants were having these great conversations with customers, and customers were, reaching back out, asking if they could, talk to, Kate or John or whoever they had met with before to ask questions about another project or product. And so we created this ability for these consultants to have their own digital storefront where they could send out ideas to customers. Imagine it almost like your own social page, but for jewelry. The consultant could either, set something up for, say, you, Neil, where maybe they send you a collection of watches because you'd expressed interest in that, or they could just send you some of more, a basic advertising around sales that they have on tennis bracelets. Whatever they want to do, they can do that. And not only can they send these things out, but it then provides a link back to their storefront. Customer can actually purchase right off of that page or that storefront, and they get the consultant gets notification, right away. So we started there with the virtual consultants. It was very successful. We have since now launched it to all of our stores and all of our jewelry consultants. So now over 10,000 jewelry consultants are set up with their own individual storefronts. And we've seen tremendous momentum in adoption. What's pretty cool about this is not only is it performing. So we were hoping to see, a small percentage of sales from this for this year, because we were really kind of testing it. We're going to end up seeing almost 5 times what we had anticipated. It's just absolutely growing. I think customers like the social aspect. They like the personalized recommendations. But, one thing that we're also seeing that I think is even more interesting and positive is we're actually seeing a newer customer come in from digital storefronts. It's attracting a younger customer. They like the digital innovation. We're seeing sort of the Gen Z millennial uptick, through these digital storefronts. And, I think the reality is they like the personalized e-commerce platform. They like this way of talking, to an expert, and they like the ability to interact, through these storefronts. But these storefronts, keep in mind, are being sent out generally through text or WhatsApp or email, and that's really how our consumers like to communicate today. So it hits on a lot of things. I think we are just scratching the surface on what this can be to our industry.
And something else that stood out for me when researching it was how connected commerce is actually driving significant growth for you at Signet. So can you expand on some of the specific growth metrics or success stories that maybe just highlight the effectiveness of your connected commerce strategy for anybody listening? And we're setting off those light bulb moments at the moment. Maybe they want to follow in your footsteps. Can you share a little around that?
Sure. I mentioned just the way virtual consultation was born, out of the pandemic. But what we looked at is, so we during the pandemic, we kind of started scrappy. I mean, we started with phone calls and FaceTime, right? We then built this platform in which customers could have, virtual appointments with us. That started evolving over time to really wanting to do more via texting, SMS, and in fact, SMS and then WhatsApp came into play as well. I can tell you a majority of our customers now want to interact with us via SMS, but we have been able to really evolve what that looks like. So we can send out product catalogs. We can take payments. We can do things like bridal configuration. So in other words, we can have a set of choices where we walk through a customer and they can choose and design, their bridal ring. And all of this done through either these texting platforms and or the digital storefronts that I talked about. And then in some cases, they'll design a ring through a virtual consultant, but then go into the store, to finish the purchase. Again, it's all that connected commerce strategy. But today, I would say 70% of our contacts in digital are actually done and handled through messaging. And we've introduced a bot to answer and address more what I would say seamless or basic questions, so that we can leave our, human consultants there to do more of the, design work and custom around jewelry. But today, we not only sell jewelry, but we answer a lot of questions, from our bots. We also use things like links and QR codes. And again, all of these things allow for really interesting and fun, communication, and really the start of great relationships with new customers.
Wow, it seems you've got all bases covered when it comes to tech there. But looking ahead, because this space is moving so fast, are there any future advancements in tech and data utilization that you're keeping an eye on that maybe you envision for the future? Or how do you plan to continue setting this standard of the jewelry retail industry? Because it's not just a destination, is it? It's constantly moving.
There's no question that AI is playing a huge role in what the future of not only our industry, but other customer-facing industries, will look like, and making that, that journey and that experience even better. I think the things that are really interesting to me and exciting that we're diving into is we have done a lot of work in parallel to the things that I talked about today to take the friction out of our website and have more flexibility in our websites. And so we have been on a 18-month journey where we have built a progressive website that is modular. The modular aspect of our sites allows us to be able to change things and personalize the website depending on who's coming to the website. So we have been able to use AI to not only personalize recommendations to our customers depending on where they're coming from and how we marketed them and anything we may know about them, but we're also able to personalize product assortment based on any number of factors using AI and insights, like could be location, it could be certain groups of customers that are interested in certain products in certain areas. It's really this idea around, perfect product assortment, personalization, and just really being able to have something that is unparalleled and different than all customers seeing the same thing. The reality is every customer is different. Everybody has different interests and needs. And the more we can use AI to personalize that experience, the better we'll all be.
Well, I've absolutely loved digging deeper on some of the technical aspects that make Signet so successful. But before I let you go, I'm going to have a little fun with you now, because I'm sure you've picked up a lot of stories over the throughout your career. So is there a funny or interesting story that has happened in your career? There'll probably be some you can share and some you can't, but is there one you can share to leave everyone listening today?
I can share this because it's actually well known. I'm not sure I'd say it's funny. At least my husband would probably disagree. But when I came out of college, I went to work for a company. It was a bank in BNA. They were actually a credit card bank that had, was purchased later on by Bank of America. They were actually ahead in what I consider like virtual experiences and probably technology more than they realized at the time. But I was young. A lot of people around me were young, and so not in the same department. But I met a young gentleman who pursued me quite a bit, always talking about the company happy hours and things like that. And we just celebrated our 25th wedding anniversary. So,
oh man, that is a beautiful story. What a great moment to end on. I love it.
Yes, exactly. So it all, happy hour turned into 3 kids and quite a life together.
Wow, what a great, so many life lessons in that story there as well. So I absolutely love that. And for anyone listening, just want to find out more information about your team or look out and get more information online, sample some of the features we talked about today. Where would you like to point everyone listening?
Yes, no, thank you for asking. I would say, don't necessarily go to Signet, right? Go to our banner website. So jared.com or k.com or Zales.com and certainly, look at our features, play with them, have fun, and maybe, design yourself something.
Wow, sounds like a challenge. Absolutely love that. And love chatting with you today about how you've got this connected commerce presence that no other jewelry competitor, as far as I'm aware of, can match at the moment. And you're also considered one of the most data-driven jeweler retailers in the world. But it's not just about you and the growth that you've created. It's also about creating this seamless shopping experience that enables consumers to interact wherever and however they want. And as a result, it's driving growth, win-win-win for everybody. So thank you for sharing that story with me today.
Neil, thank you so much for having me. I really appreciate it.
Wow, consider my mind blown. And a big thank you to Rebecca for sharing how Signet's commitment to connected commerce is not only transforming the jewellery retail landscape, but also setting new benchmarks for what this seamless and data-driven shopping experience should be. And everything from virtual try-ons to social selling platforms, I think Rebecca's insights have given me at least, and hopefully everyone listening, a glimpse into a future where technology and tradition can blend beautifully. But I'd love to hear your thoughts on everything we talked about today and how you see the future evolving in retail innovation. Please email me, techblogwriter@outlook.com. Connect with me on LinkedIn, Twitter, Instagram, but send me a quick message. Let me know your thoughts on anything we talked about today. And if you do try one of those stores that Rebecca mentioned there, such as Kay and Zales, etc., try one of those virtual try-ons. Let me know what you think of it. How seamless is it? Love to hear your feedback on that. But that's it for today. Tomorrow we will demystify a completely different industry and the impacts of technology on it. But more than anything, thank you for listening today. And until next time, don't be a stranger.